Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC Guy. Today we're going to be taking a look at this new product from Logic Rail Technologies, and it's their EFX-16. And like the name says, it allows you to produce a lot of special effects with LEDs on your model railroad. So stick around for the video and we'll take a look at what it does, how it does it, how to program it, and get it working on your layout. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click All. Well, before we take a look at the EFX-16, I want to bring you up to date on what happened last week because, as you probably noticed, I did not do a video last week. And the reason for that was my old iMac computer that I used for producing videos died suddenly on Wednesday of last week. So I didn't have anything available to do anything with. So it's taken a few days, about a week and a half now, then to actually get back to the point where I can process videos again. Now, another issue that I want to point out is, for various medical reasons, I may not be able to keep to a regular weekly schedule for a while. And I really don't know yet whether I'll be able to do one every week. It might be every other week. It might stretch out to once a month. I just don't know yet. So we'll just have to move along and see how it goes. And if I'm able to do them that week, I will. If not, well, go back and catch up on some of those 350 plus videos that are on the channel already. Okay, so let's get started with our look at the EFX-16. Okay, first off, let me show you what's available for the EFX-16. Now, this is the basic circuit board. And as you can see, it has 8 outputs on this side and 8 on this side for a total of 16 outputs to power lights. And it's limited to using LEDs. And each one of these is rated at 20 milliamps each. So you can operate 3, maybe 4 LEDs per output. Now, Chuck Stansel, who developed these and sells them, has told me that because customers have asked for a little bit more power, so he will be coming out with a new version of this board that will offer, I believe, 250 milliamps per output and 2 amps max for the board. So you'd be able to power a whole string of LEDs off of a single output if you want to light up a yard area or a building or anything like that. And so that's something that'll be coming down the road. For right now, though, this one does 16 outputs with about 3 to 4 LEDs per output. These can be operated with DCC or LCC. And unfortunately, since I sent back the TCS command station that is LCC compatible, I wasn't able to do any testing, and I won't be able to show you how it works with LCC. But let me just tell you, there are so many features available when you move up to LCC that are not available with DCC. And that involves incorporating a lot of the capabilities of JMRI Panel Pro to control these various lighting features. So that's something that'll be if you have an LCC compatible command station, you'll be able to use those features. Otherwise, there's a lot that you can do with just plain old DCC. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at how this all works. It's potentially compatible with a lot of different types of LED fixtures already available on the market. And the reason for that is these do not require that you use a resistor with an LED. You don't need a dropping resistor. However, if you have something like one of these Woodland Scenics lights that has a resistor already built into it, then it can power those as well without any problem. So you don't have to worry about matching various lighting fixtures with the EFX-16. All of these will work. And if you purchase some of these harnesses with the appropriate plug on the end, you can connect your own LEDs like I did right here with this red one. So this can be plugged in right here to this point, and I'll be able to light it up. I can take a Woodland Scenics just plug fixture light and plug it in here, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. And you can do that with all kinds of different LED fixtures that you can purchase, as well as your own LEDs that you might want to set up for your own purposes. So you're not limited to one manufacturer's brand of fixtures like you are with, say, Woodland Scenics when you buy into their products. So these can be used directly with the EFX-16. Now, another thing that they have that is an option is right here, and this is their EFX-16 output test board, and it's got 8 different LEDs on it, and it just plugs right in here to 8 different outputs here on the board. And I'll show you how that works in a minute, because that allows it to light all of these, and you can test the outputs. You can program the board and see how these change. Now, I just said programming. It's just like programming any other accessory decoder, because the EFX-16 has 16 separate accessory decoder addresses. And remember, this conforms to the NMRA standard, so it supports all, 2042 or 44 odd accessory decoder addresses available. So you'll be able to set these up and operate it just like any other accessory decoder on your model railroad. In addition to that, each output can have greater than 30 special effects. And just to blow out my lighting, I'll show you right here. Let the camera adjust. So this is a listing of all of the different lighting effects available for each one of these output sockets. And these include things like blinking, pulsing, fast blinking, strobes, double strobe, 3 different fire effects, fusees, welding, photographers, fluorescent lights, beacons of all types, the ability to replicate various traffic lights, both US and EU, chase lights, all kinds of different lighting features that you can have to operate the LEDs on your model railroad. As I said, it comes with capability to connect to LCC buses. So you would just use this connector here that they include to make the connection to your LCC network. And they talk about that in the manual. The manual is about 39 pages long, and about a quarter of that, 10 pages, is dedicated just to LCC operations. But they go into a lot of things, how to wire up LEDs like this that you might want to add on your own, and just generally how to operate these devices. Of course, a lot of it covers programming, and we'll go over that in just a second. But first, I want to show you. Right here is an input for power in. You have to understand that these can be powered different ways. They can be powered through this input here with DCC power right off of your DCC power bus, or an accessory DCC power bus. Or you can have LCC inputs here. And there's 3 different ways to operate this. You can operate them just off of the LCC bus and power it that way. You can add AC power through this socket here to feed into the LCC. You can add DC power to feed into the LCC. And so there's just a lot of different power options. In addition to that, once the board is programmed, all the CVs are set for the various animation effects you want, you can connect power right here, and this can be operated by itself as an independent lighting effects generator without even being connected to your DCC system. So in that mode, it won't draw any power at all from your DCC system. Now, another thing, they also have this input board, and it plugs in right here on the side. Show you that. And it's got this ribbon cable, and it allows you to connect push-button switches or toggle switches to control certain ones of these LEDs on the layout. And I'll show you how that works in just a second. Okay, so I've shown you a lot of things, so let me go ahead and power this up, and we'll take a look. So I've got a power cab connected here, and I'm going to add that. And as you can see, we've got lights everywhere now. So right here, if you look, I don't know if you can see it, but this has got a double flash or double strobe effect blinking. Excuse me. And then right here, we have the Woodland Scenics street light or yard light, as I use them, Okay, there we go. I got the connection sorted out for the Woodland Scenics lamp here, so you can see how that's working. You can see that this is strobing, and then you can see the test board here that's all lit up. And let me point out that these two guys right here, I cut them down to 10% brightness. So that's one of the things that you can control is the brightness of your LEDs. And it can be anywhere from, like 1 to 100% of brightness. Now, I'm going to disconnect it and then connect this input board, and we'll power things back up again. Now, I have this set up to control this input. So if you can see that that is blinking, hopefully you can, I can push the button here, the push button, and that has now gone off. Now I can push the button again, and it's come back on. So it's a double strobe effect right there. Unfortunately, this LED is not a very bright one. So you can set up individual push buttons or toggle switches to control each one of the 16 outputs. Now, as I said, you can control this with the push buttons, and you'll be able to power this up and everything will come up on. You can set it up so that certain LEDs come on off, and then you turn them on with your push button like that. You can also use a handheld throttle. And programming is fairly straightforward. It's just like any other accessory decoder. I'm going to disconnect some things first here. But at any rate, what you do is you bring it up, and then you press this gold button here. Now, I'm not going to do it yet because I want to tell you, once you press this gold button, you have 60 seconds to start your programming. And you have to get that programming command done within 60 seconds. So you would press the button, select the CV number that you wanted to change, and then enter the value for the new CV, press the enter button, and then that will restart the countdown, and you can move on to the next CV you want to change. And again, you have 60 seconds to input that. So when you're getting ready to do any programming, I recommend that you write it all out in advance so that you know which CVs and what values you want to change them to. And that way you'll be able to just enter them one right after the other. Now, if you do not manage to get all of the CVs changed in sequence that you want before the 60 seconds passes, and remember that's 60 seconds for each CV. So it is a fairly long time in reality. But at any rate, if you don't manage, you can just press the gold button and take up where you left off. So it's not an issue as far as that goes. So basically then for programming, you would just set it up for programming on the main, and use any random locomotive number as long as it's not on your layout, because you don't want to go reprogramming your decoder on a locomotive. But just use any number for locomotive number for ops mode programming using your power cab or whatever DCC system you have, and then go into CV programming mode on that. Enter the value for the CV that you want to change. Hit the return button, move on to the next one, and so on. So it works fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and let's change the brightness here for this one, which is number 2. So I'm going to go in, set it up for programming on the main, and got a random locomotive, set it for CV2. And now I'm going to hit the gold button since I'm ready to start entering. So I hit that. Now I'm going to change that to 20% power. Now you can see everything is still blinking, so I'm going to turn it off, back on, and you can see how much dimmer it is now. So it's a very straightforward process, and you would do that for each one of these. And they cover this in the manual to a certain degree, and they tell you to check the manual for your DC system so that you are ready to go as far as programming on the main goes with this. And all I've done here for this is I've just taken the connector and some wires and a couple of clip leads so that I can connect it directly to the output, either on a track that I want to on the layout, or to the DCC system bus wires coming out of the back of the NCE power cab. Now I showed you that you have the ability to use these input boards and either a toggle switch or a push button switch like this one to turn and control each individual socket out here. Now, one thing that Chuck told me that he is adding to this board is a master switch, and that will actually allow you to turn all of the sockets on or off at a time. So if you're not going to be working, if you're going to be working on the layout, but you don't want the lights on, you could just flip that off and not have to worry about it. Or you could just disconnect power for that matter, but that's a little bit cruder. So that's a nice little feature that he'll be adding. And, you know, Chuck is very, very good about these things, adding features when customers ask for something. So if you see something that could be done to improve this, feel free to reach out to Chuck and let him know through the contact on his website what you would like to see. Now let me point out that Logic Rail has been making products like this since about 1990. And I reviewed one of their products, I think, back in the late 90s. It was their LocoNet fast clock. So there's just so many things that they have that I haven't covered yet. So take a look at that website. If you're interested in various lighting effects and other types of electronic devices, they offer that. They offer detector wheel sets for cars for use with detection systems on your layout. So take a little time to take a look at the Logic Rail Technologies website. And again, I put that in the description. Well, that's a wrap-up with our look at the EFX-16. So if you're in the market for some way to add a lot of animation to LEDs on your layout, or to even just start lighting up the buildings and streets and various scenes on your layout, take a look at the EFX-16. As I said earlier, I have put a link to their website in the description, so take a look at that. There are two different websites. There is their basic website, plus there is their store website, and I've added both of those. And so if you're interested in getting background information, go to the regular website, and when you're ready to purchase something, go to their store website. And let me point out that there's a lot on those websites in addition to the EFX-16. And hopefully I'll see you here next week with another video. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you again with another video from the DCC Guide. Bye now.